Why did Jeff Bezos' 4 children refuse to show their faces at his $50 million wedding to Lauren Sánchez? Look at every photo from his lavish Venice celebration. A-list celebrities everywhere. Lauren's kids walking her down the aisle. Now look closer at what's missing. 4 empty spaces where his own children should have been standing. Jeff Bezos, the man who revolutionized customer loyalty, couldn't buy the loyalty that mattered most. His children's silent boycott tells a story that $50 million couldn't silence. The affair that destroyed their family was being celebrated with the most extravagant wedding in history. And his kids made their choice crystal clear. Their absence wasn't just about skipping a party, it was about refusing to celebrate the relationship that broke their mother's heart. And what happened in Venice reveals exactly how deep those wounds still run. In June 2025, Venice wasn't just a city, it became a private kingdom for Jeff Bezos. For 3 days, he and Lauren Sánchez hosted a wedding with a staggering $50 million price tag. This wasn't just a party, it was a meticulously orchestrated display of power. Venice turned into Bezos' private movie set. Blocked canals, swarming guards, and A-listers like Kim Kardashian, Leonardo DiCaprio, and George Clooney ferried in on gondolas. They took over the city's most iconic palaces, which stood for centuries, now cordoned off for their private celebration. The message was clear. This was a private show, a fortress of wealth designed to be talked about but not witnessed by the uninvited. At the center of it all was Lauren Sánchez, the undisputed star. Reports claimed she wore an incredible 27 different couture outfits. This wasn't just about celebrating love, it was a coronation where every detail was engineered for maximum wow factor. But while the super rich toasted to themselves, locals protested the commercialization of their historic home. Yet, for all the noise on the streets, the most powerful protest wasn't written on a banner. It was the silent, glaring, and profoundly uncomfortable emptiness where the 4 people who should have been front and center were supposed to be. As the first professionally shot, perfectly curated photos began to flood the internet, the PR machine was working overtime to sell a fairy tale. There was Jeff and Lauren on a balcony kissing against the Venetian sunset. But as the world scrolled, a question grew into a roar. Where are Jeff Bezos' kids? He has 4 children with his ex-wife, MacKenzie Scott, who had been deliberately kept out of the public eye their entire lives. Now, at the most public moment of their father's new life, their absence was the most visible thing in the frame. His 4 children had left that space painfully, defiantly empty. Their absence wasn't just a scheduling conflict, it was interpreted as a statement. The internet, acting as a global jury, lit up with speculation, and the consensus was swift. They refused to come. The world saw it as a powerful, gut-wrenching, and deeply public statement of loyalty to their mother. And it was seen as a united stand against the very union that had dismantled their family. Then there was the contrast. While Bezos' own children were nowhere to be seen, Lauren Sánchez's children were reportedly central to the ceremony. Reports claimed her 2 sons walked her down the aisle, and her daughter served as maid of honor. The picture this painted was brutally simple. One family, the original family, broken and absent. The other, the new blended family, proudly taking the spotlight. For a man defined by control, this was the one variable he couldn't manage. He could fly in the world's biggest stars, rent out a city, and command the world's attention, but he seemingly could not convince his own 4 children to stand with him for a family photo. Those empty seats were a potent symbol of a wound so deep that a $200 billion fortune can't begin to heal it. And to understand why, you have to rewind to the moment their world fell apart. Before Lauren Sánchez, there was MacKenzie Scott. Jeff and MacKenzie weren't just husband and wife. They were the co-architects of a revolution. For 25 years, they built Amazon from a garage into a planet-spanning behemoth that changed how we live. Throughout that journey, they raised their 4 children with a fierce determination to keep them far from the spotlight, giving the impression of a solid, remarkably normal family. That 25-year-long story was not just broken in January 2019, it was shattered when the National Enquirer published intimate, personal text messages between Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sánchez, exposing a secret affair. The fallout was instantaneous. Just days later, Jeff and MacKenzie announced their divorce. This wasn't a private separation, it was a global humiliation. Imagine what that was like for their children. Their family's private pain was now a global news story. Their father's new relationship wasn't introduced to them gently. It was born from a scandal that publicly embarrassed their mother on a scale few can fathom. Psychologists talk about betrayal trauma, the distress that occurs when someone you depend on violates your trust. The children weren't just processing a divorce. They were processing the fact that their family unit was violently destroyed by an act of infidelity, and they had to watch the world pick over the details. When you remember that, everything else clicks into place. The kids watch their mom, their dad's partner from the very beginning, get tossed aside in the most public way possible. So years later, when that very same relationship is being celebrated with a $50 million party, can you really blame them for not wanting to raise a glass and toast to it? Unimaginable wealth can buy everything except loyalty, and family wounds can't be paved over with gold. If you find these untold truths about the lives of the mega rich fascinating, hit that subscribe button right now, because the next story we're diving into is even wilder. In the years after the divorce, MacKenzie Scott and Jeff Bezos could not have taken more different paths. While Jeff and Lauren embarked on a global tour of glamour, living it up on mega yachts and red carpets, MacKenzie took a quieter route. She methodically began giving away billions from her divorce settlement with a quiet grace and astonishing speed. There were no glitzy galas, just transformative amounts of money given to organizations doing good work. Then, in a move that screamed substance over spectacle, she remarried a science teacher from her children's school. Throughout it all, she reportedly stayed incredibly close to her 4 children, shielding them from the fallout. In the court of public opinion, MacKenzie became a symbol of dignity and integrity. This is where the idea of a loyalty conflict becomes so painfully real for the children. For them, showing up at that Venetian wedding would have been like clapping for their mom's public humiliation. It would be tantamount to endorsing the event that caused their family so much pain. By staying away, the Bezos children were making a silent choice. They were planting their flag in solidarity with the parent, who, in their eyes, was the victim. They were honoring the 25-year family that was destroyed. Their absence sent a crystal clear message. Our history matters. Our mother's dignity matters. And some things, not even the founder of Amazon can buy. It's a choice that suggests they inherited something far more valuable than his money. They got their mother's integrity. But just as the narrative of a righteous boycott solidifies, the plot thickens. A single, anonymous source told the Daily Mail a completely different story. That all 4 of Jeff's children were present, and that all 7 children from the blended family were involved in the ceremony. This twist doesn't just muddy the waters, it makes the mystery even deeper. And if they were there, why the absolute secrecy? Lauren's children were reportedly photographed and their roles shared. If Jeff's children were also there, giving speeches no less, why no photos of what exactly was being hidden? In an event of this magnitude, how is it possible that not a single grainy photo of them has ever appeared? Was it a piece of strategic PR to counteract the damaging narrative? Even if they did attend, the lack of evidence suggests it was, at best, a reluctant, heavily negotiated appearance. It's one thing to be there, it's another to be a ghost at the feast. A way to technically fulfill a duty without putting a public stamp of approval on the event. This possibility reveals the impossible position these young adults are in, caught between loyalty to their mother and obligation to their father. So whether they refused to go or went as unseen ghosts, it all points back to the same heartbreaking truth. This was no happy, blended family moment. It was a painful, complicated affair, and the wedding was just another chapter in a saga still grappling with the deep scars of betrayal. In the end, Jeff Bezos got his massive, impossibly grand Venetian wedding. He had the A-list celebrities, the fleet of private boats, and the woman for whom he blew up his 25-year family. On paper, he got everything he wanted. But the unanswered question of his children's presence, whether physically absent or just photographically erased, tells the real story. It's a story not of triumph, but of consequence. The silence surrounding his children speaks volumes. It's a powerful reminder that in the complex calculus of human emotion, wealth is a surprisingly weak currency. Jeff Bezos may have bought himself a $50 million fairy tale ending, but his children's silence silence that echoes with the memory of betrayal and the dignity of their mother will almost certainly outlast the wedding vows, because some wounds, even in the richest family on earth, never truly heal. They just get hidden behind a more expensive curtain. What do you think about this impossible situation? If this were your family, your father, your mother, what would you have done? Would you forgive and attend, or would you refuse to play along and stand by the parent who was wronged? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below. And before you go, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories the headlines don't always tell you.